We open up with a scene, and the scene is it's a hospital room, the med bay on the station, more specifically, where we see like a couple of assistants in their scrubs, sort of like in the background, being rushing around, and we see Dr. Oglehop with his surgeon's mask on, and he's like over the table, and he's like, "Man, give me that one. No, no, the other one. Hey, and you, give me that extract from the plant over there. No, the blue plant." And then we see on the operating table in front of him, Ricard, who is passed out. He's got like the oxygen like mask on. And this is like the big hole in his, where his right kidney would be. And we've got and there's all this rushing around, and and when and then we cut away and we get the freewheel station like logo, and we get like the the we get the system with its 3 planets. We get the station floating like a big wheel in space with the big armature um for the ship, building facilities off to the side. The camera flies underneath, and we see the wrench that's like welded into the corner. We come out the other side, and we cut to black. And when we come back in on the conference room, and uh, we've got Dr. Pargash Orask, the halfling xenoarchaeologist, standing up at the head of the table with a bunch of charts and boards and things like that, and a whole mess of papers, and a rather large book that is just sort of open with a page with this diagram of this creature on it. And we see all of our, we see the rest of our protagonists around the table. Um, Go ahead and give us a brief description of each of your character and what you're doing, and what your expression is from being asked what you know about the outer gods, the elder mythos. Um, why don't we start with uh, let's start with Temerity.
I think Temerity probably just is like staring blankly forward and goes, uh, not a lot, not a lot.
Yeah, and and then we get like the freeze shot with Temerity over the top, like in like uh like neon, like flowy letters, and then the camera unfreezes and pans over. And what's Kib's reaction?
Like he starts scrolling through the tablet. It's like, I remember hearing. No, go ahead. This could be informative. And he's like getting ready to take massive amounts of notes and stuff that he's like eager as all get out for it. And he's like, this is going to be a lot of cool information. Let's go.
And then the camera freezes and we get Kib in like really mismatched like letters that look like they're made out of like pieces of metal and wiring and cable and what have you. And then the camera unfreezes and we pan over to Philip. And what's Philip's reaction to this?
Philip there, sitting beautifully in a chair, smooth bald head, and eyes that glow like cigarettes, responds to, well, and pushes a button. The Elder Gods are something of what I was taught in school. So, who are you wanting to talk about? The Lost Prince? Hastur? Narulitep? I know a little bit about all of them, and none of them are things that I want to mess with. Dun dun.
Do you actually have ranks in an appropriate skill for this?
Uh, well, it'd be under culture. Do you want me to give you a
That
culture check?
I would accept culture or religion,
Hmm.
or
Or
not,
mysticism.
or like
I'm sorry. Religion, mysticism.
mysticism. I'll accept mysticism.
But I'm going to give you culture. I have the most ranks in it.
That's about all. Like you know the names of these like elder gods.
I know a
The
little bit
probably
about them, but not enough to be like, oh yeah, I know everything.
yeah. You kind of know
I
that.
dabble.
You know that. Uh, like probably the one you know the most about is Nyarlathotep, and that's because he's actually like pretty much the stated prince of one of the worlds in the Pact world. So you know, outside of that, there's names, rumors, things like that. And then maybe we get like the freeze frame of Philip, and then we get Philip Depot written in very stately, but also kind of like very old school feeling, like say something like a script that feels somewhere between like business letterhead and ancient, formal of some sort.
Ancient
Uh,
Eoxian.
yeah, something that's got like an element of runes to it, maybe.
Mm,
But also looks a bit like a stately. Um, yeah.
I
But
got you.
then we and then we kind of pan back around to Doctor Pargish or and he goes, "Well, my my current employers and friends, this is unprecedented. This is actually kind of proof of. Well, you see, the first thing to remember is, well, I suppose I should start at uh, the things we encountered. They're not actually bugs. They're not insectoid at all." And he points to the book with this sort of diagram, and he's like, "They're called MIGO. Uh, they're known to serve elder gods and outer gods,
No.
sort of the elder mythos. They're
Oh
they're
no. As a
completely alien."
Lovecraft fan, not the Migo. No.
It's like he's like they're well, and the translation and pronunciation varies. Amigo, Migo, Migo, I don't know. Uh, but the common it plays into one of my greatest theories, and one of the reasons that big xenoarchaeology kind of sort of excluded me is well the history of the Migo first. I guess I should go with that first. The Migo, they they're actually a fungus, and they're incredibly intelligent, extraordinarily dangerous, absolutely alien intelligences. Where there's no telling how their minds work or what their end goals and results are. What is known of them is they sort of blend well. Uh, Something like the Osharos, but even further. Science, religion, magic, technology, it's all the same thing to them in a strange way. And they don't see their patrons the same way as a mystic might see their patron deity or their faith. It's kind of more of a professor to student relationship, student professor, if you will. There, the accepted theory of what happened to Terivia and how I believe this is connected, perhaps, is most scholars believe that Terivia fell victim to some great plague or disease, or perhaps a great catastrophe of some sort that simply wiped them entirely out. And I believe something far, far darker and far worse became of Terivia. The Terivia itself was, well, Terivia Prime was a veritable paradise, uh, flora and fauna like you wouldn't believe if the tales and the records that survive. are to be believed, but uh, when it comes right down to it, they had an entire their entire system under their control. Some say more than, some say others. Exact number is unknown, but what is widely accepted is that it's was a very high end civilization. They were very wealthy civilization. They had a great deal of resources at their command: food, wine, entertainment, uh, the resources to build vast fleets, colonize other planets, is extraordinarily advanced for their time. I believe that I believe that the end of Terivia came from the inside, and that perhaps some elder god may have been involved. If you if that world, as you say, and it does seem to be at least part of the Terevian Empire, it matches some of the descriptions that from the ancient texts that I've researched, but not exactly. Um, it's reasonable to assume that my theory is correct, that some outer god, some completely alien intelligence did something with Terevia. I don't believe it was completely destroyed. I believe that something very, very, very dark and very bad happened. And it kind of, and he brings up he passes around a certain amount of like handouts that he's made that sort of like break down like some of this information in sort of a point by point. It's actually more organized than he seems here. He actually seems still a bit shaken from the experience. Um, he, so he's got so you know.
Good.
Well, um, it might be uh, it might be wise to steer clear of that system for a while. From what I know of the Migo, he flips a page in the book, and it shows like various scenes of Migo attacking some humanoids, and and they're doing exactly like they did to Ricard, like they are piercing right through, like where the vital organs of most humanoids would be on these aliens, unidentified aliens.
Maybe we should let somebody know about this. There seem to be a whole awful lot of them.
Uh, but I mean, well, I'm open to suggestions. I mean, who do you want to tell?
Abador.
Yeah. I was thinking the Veliquin Empire. This seems like their kind of thing. You know, they're kind of hostile about this kind of shit.
That's actually a great idea too, dear. Yes, Hylax, Abador, Yasna, Desna, Waden. Let all those motherfuckers know.
I can ready a press release packet to send to
Eh.
Patch Worlds.
I was going to say, we need to send it to them specifically. We don't need to have adventurers, I guess is what we'd call them, trying to go there to slay mythical elder god beings.
You get me names, and I will fill out the requisite forms. Bureaucracy is my
Remember to
specialty.
send Haas footage of the creatures, edit out, the battle and all of that if you can.
You got it. I'll have Arbiter 12 do that.
Yes, I was going to say, don't you have someone that can do that for you?
Yeah,
Because we need to go talk to Lexia. I say it right, Jesta?
Yeah, yeah.
Yay! I And then I air quote the time dragon because that bitch probably knows something.
There's a. Have you already told me that there's a time dragon?
Yes. Were you not here the last time she was here?
No,
Oh, she wasn't.
Okay.
because
So,
I know that there's a time dragon, but does Temerity?
I mean, this isn't the first time I've talked about the time dragon.
Okay. I think Temerity will go.
And we definitely
Ah.
talked about the time dragon on the way back because regardless of knowing what this guy did, fabric and time, that's something that, she should have been paying attention to.
At least with the portal opening, we would have been like,
Yeah, at
yeah,
the very least,
she's
she
an
would have been like, what's
excursion.
going on over there? Oh, look who's there. Yeah. But it may just be me annoying her by speaking, copper dragon with a redneck accent. So,
I believe that you might find me a potentially valuable interlocutor in this conversation. Also, read that as I really want to meet a fucking dragon. That sounds so cool.
why wouldn't you come? We took you to a battle. Why wouldn't we take you to,
You know what? Why did you take me to a battle? That's a good question.
Are you ready? Do you have a soul?
Yeah, as far as I know.
There you go.
That's not an acceptable answer.
Well, technically, I didn't know it was going to be a battle. I figured we could just go there and gather resources from when we were there before.
You know
It
what,
wasn't.
Kib? You make a good point.
Mm.
This is your fault,
And we
isn't
definitely know. Well, most things, technically, if we go back far enough, become Kib's fault.
it?
See, I don't intentionally do things. They just kind of happen circumstantially, shooting people in the face and whatnot. But it happens.
Have you ever heard about the soldier whose luck was so bad they sent him to the enemy so that just him being himself would make them lose the war?
No, but it sounds like a kitschy tale.
Mm-hmm. I think I left out a couple of key elements, but it's actually pretty cool. The basic gist is we want you to be an agent and go live in this capital, and within months, we'll have won the war.
You know what? I feel like Kib would be a proper cognito hazard if we equipped him properly.
Wait.
No, none of this is bad.
I'm lost.
Don't worry, Kib. We're not actually going to turn you into a weapon of mass destruction until we can figure out how to do that.
Or until you decide that that's what you want to do. Anyway. It's time to go get Sean. All right, I'm back. So let's get what we need done here today and go see the time dragon tomorrow.
Okay. Do you have any particular names of people that you want me to send that particular footage to? It's kind of hard to just go, "Hey, I'd like to talk to the CEO of your religion." You know.
I don't know if anyone could do it. I think you could do it. Yes, this is Temerity. I'd like to talk to Space Pope, please.
Yeah, I think
3 hours
Temerity
later.
puffs.
Hello?
Yeah, Temerity kind of puffs her chest up at that and goes, "You know what? I bet you I could talk to the Space Pope."
So definitely send a fucking package to Hylax. The Order of Kavoy needs a copy. Hang on. I'm thinking. We could send a fucking copy to Narulitep, but that just might fucking be bad for us.
Why don't we start with, like, heads of state? I feel like heads of state can get more things done.
Well, definitely send it to the people that were your idea. So the Valkyrian. Let's go ahead
Is there
and
a
send a
dude named
package.
Bob we can send it to? That just seems like a cool name that we should just send something to that person.
I was not a part of that. While I am managing to make my rolls not to be laughing like everyone else, that was not me this time. Now, moving on. Silver Soul will want to copy. Well, actually, you should probably do that as a meeting
Yeah,
and
I'll
give him the copy.
probably.
But
This
that's
sounds
just
like
because Silver Soul is one that, like, if we give him something juicy, then he'll give us something back juicy when we need it.
Yeah, this sounds like a really good opportunity for me and Silver Soul to properly acquaint ourselves. So we've met, but we haven't met. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Silver Soul is the one that has the dagger on his chest before I continue this conversation, right, Jesta?
Yes.
From
Yeah.
the good old Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company.
Yes, I just want to make sure I had the right guy in my mind while I'm telling the story. I was like,
Now-
yes, I love the tattoo on his chest.
Question: does Valen Sur have connection to the Veliquin Empire, or is that just something I've been like making up in my head?
No, Valensur is the gemfish
Because he's
trade.
Gemfish Consortium.
Quindon Maloon
Yeah,
is
Quindon.
he is the representative for the Velquin Empire here.
All
And
right.
Quindon's the one that Mira made it. Oh, sorry. The Temerity made a good impression on, and he doesn't like me, right?
No, that's Valen
Oh,
Sur.
that's
Okay.
Valensur.
See, good. At least
I don't
Quindon
think
likes
I've
me.
met. I don't think I've like properly met or more than like a couple words. Quindon Maloon.
Yeah, I think you had a formal introduction, but you never really have. You haven't had a reason to have any particular business with him
Yeah,
yet.
I would
Mm.
like. I'm gonna pull out my comm and I'm going to dial up Arbiter 12 and go, Arbiter, it's good to talk to you.
Man.
Yeah,
Say what?
he's like, yes, Miss Temerity.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a meeting with Quindon Maloon. Actually, his meeting with Zerk Silversoul first, and then Quindon Maloon, and then I need you to get me the most direct channels possible to heads of state in the Pact world, and maybe try and turn something up for Abadar Corp as well.
And the
Very
Velkin.
good, ma'am. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, and
very
I've
good.
got a video editing project for you. It's light work, I promise. I'll pay you a bonus.
And so, will that be all, Miss Temerity?
I think so. Thank you.
You actually do have other business you could speak to Quindon Maloon on as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Because
have to
you
get
still,
that package through customs.
yeah, so you have to, yeah,
This
so.
sounds like an opportunity. When a problem meets another problem, we call that an opportunity.
I like that. I love it. That's so cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically you get, yeah, so Kib, what are you going to do in the meantime?
I
Kib.
figured I should go down to the area
Oh.
where all my people are and like check in on them and see what they've been up to.
Okay.
I forgot
So
what it was called. The engineering area.
Kibb's Engineering and Research Division. Down in engineering.
Meanwhile, as Kib makes its way into the underbelly of Free Will Station, where ancient technologies intermix with everyday items.
Indeed. Yeah, there's I think Philip, what are you doing with your time right now?
Hmm. Excuse me. I am considering other options after the Time Dragon, should she prove not to be either able to help or withholding of said help, or just annoyed enough that we showed up at her house without an invitation again because she doesn't want to deal with this at all. In all ways will take us into danger.
Um, yeah. So you're trying to work up other contacts you could talk to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, they're on the science space station where they were like, nobody come, it could be bad.
Oh, Dr. Sigvit?
Yes, that's it. I knew it started
Uh,
with an S. Is an
actually,
option because this deals
actually, it
with what
starts
they're
with a
dealing with.
C.
Oh, well, whatever. I accept that I was wrong. But yes, that's definitely another option. I mean, we still need to find the monstrosity that we created by trying to bring Kib's cousin back as, a Borai, and we chose poorly on who we let do that. Okay. That's another option, but I don't know much to do there. I mean, in order to deal with that, we have to go deal with the person that wants me in prison for killing his godchild. Sorry.
Remember, you also got the information about that security and encryption program, Warden
Oh
Q.
yeah,
But you got to
yeah.
wait
I
for
had
Zerk to get
Silver
back
Soul.
with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Silver
he's
Soul
gonna
was
tell
dealing
you
with
when
that.
that's. Yeah, because he was gonna get back with you on when that was, and possibly even get you an invitation to that auction
Right,
or
but we
that.
also discussed him going in my place because I was about to leave again to go talk to a time dragon.
So, all right. So I think uh, temerity while you are let's see. Yeah, okay. So I think you're able to get meetings. Zerk is, he's kind of on the move, so you have to like he's like his people let you know that he can meet you for, a quick coffee. He's got like a few minutes he can carve out, but
Yeah.
he's on some mission of his own at this point.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Temerity
so
works on the move.
so like maybe there's like maybe there's a coffee place in your sort of shopping district that you guys could go to.
Hmm.
Um and I think he meets you there, and he's got like his um and he looks like he's dressed for to travel to some extent, or at least to go on some kind of adventure. He's sort of he's got like the sort of fur vest with, you know, a shirt with like a low plunge in terms of like he doesn't button it until like the third button, and you can see like the top of a tattoo of a dagger or a sword of some kind. Probably given the chest space, a dagger tattooed on the front of his like chest, but he's got like sort of like um, a pretty much like a flamboyant adventurer look going on. And he's got like
Hmm.
maybe his hair is pulled back into a top knot at this point. And he walks forward and sits down. And he's like, "Ah, Miss Temerity,
Ah,
I
pleasure to
understand
see you,
you."
Zerk.
And that's he says, "I apologize. Our businesses haven't crossed paths as of yet." He
Oh,
said,
don't worry. I'm sure that this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
he goes, "Have you a need for perhaps some exotic teas?"
I have need for certain news of tea to get out, if that may please you.
What exactly do you have in mind?
Temerity is going to take the dossier and take the photos that have been pulled from Ha, right?
Mm-hmm.
And put them on a data slate and kind of airdrop them over to Zerk's device, whatever he's got, and goes, "I'm giving you the unedited press junket, we'll say. Um, some troubling information about a place, and well, some issues that need to be brought to the proper channels. I know that you're a little bit better networked in this part of the world and in the galaxy writ large uh, than I am at the moment, and I would very much appreciate it. As a matter of fact, on behalf of Lichdom Corporation, we would very much appreciate it if you were to give us some assistance on this issue.
And he kind of leans and he goes, "Are you telling me you're leaking information?"
Perhaps. I wouldn't call it leaking so much as sanctioned well springs here and there.
I see. And he goes, and he leans back, like he had leaned forward. Then he leans back and takes a sip of his coffee and kind of like thinks for a minute. And he goes, "Out of curiosity, where exactly is this?"
Probably would say, probably would give like a rough coordinate, like somewhere that like would put them in the same system, you know? Just be vague like that, like somewhere out in this general area. People applying or wishing for further information, I'm sure that they'll contact us first.
Hmm. He's like, "I see." It's like, "They're very interesting. I might know a few people who'd be interested in something like this, but there
I,
has to be a catch."
well, the catch is we know that there's a significant presence. And it's going to take more than small potatoes to deal with this. Let's just say, as we were leaving the airspace, many of them had survived an explosion, and let's just say that there was a bit of a portal situation happening. Something a bit above our pay grade, if you will. Somebody should probably know about it before it becomes a real bugbear of an issue.
Hmm. He goes, "Interesting, but that's not exactly what I meant.
Hmm.
What are you expecting in return for such a hot off the presses intel?"
Well, Zerk, I would have to say that what I expect is simply an in at some later point. We have many irons in the fire, as I'm positive that you know. All I'm asking is sometime you and I can share a drink and talk about potentially some real business.
So a token of good faith then.
You could call it that.
He goes, he nods and he kind of he takes a moment and he leans back into his chair and kind of looks up at one of like the, sort of neon displays in the background and like a video board that's like running whatever Kibb's like, sort of like announcement of the day is or
Hmm.
something. Maybe like maybe people are like, you know what? A little bit of background lore. Um, Somebody is taken to occasionally hacking the board with something Kib said in public, like that was particularly awkward, and it's like the Kib saying of the day. Like, like there's a it's always some awkward thing that Kib is on record somewhere saying, whether it's just walking around the engineering room or somewhere in the common area, or if he said something that got aired publicly on video or something. Yeah.
It would
But he's
probably
kind of
be
staring back.
all right. So I just randomly thought of what it would be.
Okay, what is it? What
So,
is it for today?
so just because there's a blue and a red wire, you don't want to mix those because the other wire is purple. That doesn't mean you mix those two wires to connect to the purple. It just wouldn't work well. You have to have matching color wires, not mixing the color wires. This is an art project. This is actual. Yeah, you can't
think
do it that way.
I think what like actually gets translated onto the board is you can't use purple, and like art doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and it's like Kib quote of the day. So like
Hmm.
maybe he's reading that and kind of gets a little bit of a smirk, and he goes, "That's not even what he said." And that's
Hmm.
kind of like fucking, and he goes, very well. He goes, how long of a delay do I have on this to consider it hot press intel before the rest of the media catches up with it?
We'll be trying. I'll be meeting with Quindon Maloon quite shortly. The Veliquin Empire are on the top of my list of folks who I might be interested in giving this information to. Um, for you, I just want to express that it is both the policy of the owners of Lichdom Corporation as well as the owner of Temeritus at Law that we value you incredibly on this station. Feel free to release this at your leisure.
And it's like, he goes, I think I can, if you can give me a day,
Hmm.
then this information will be a bit more valuable in farther corners. And say say the Vescarium, the Pact
Hmm.
Worlds, maybe even the Marixa Republic.
Ooh. You know, if we're able to start a local power struggle in the area, and Temerity kind of gets this really sick smile for a second, and then kind of goes, "Oh, Zerk, I think that this, like many other things, is an opportunity."
He kind of chuckles. He goes, if you're on board with a slight delay to give me a chance to get the Duke to sell the information before it becomes publicly available, then we have a deal.
I certainly think that that is amenable to me. The only person who will know will be any direct contacts, and I will make sure that they are brought to secrecy.
He goes, He goes, I look forward to doing, how did you put it? Real business with you fairly in the future. And he kind of stands up. If you, now, if that's all we have for today, I'm afraid I have a very important errand to run for an important client.
Oh yeah, I shake Zerk's hand,
Yeah, he shakes
firmly
hand.
but
Yeah,
confidently, and
yeah,
I say, "All the well wishes. May your endeavors go well today."
yeah. And I think he kind of like, I think he kind of goes on, he kind of excuses himself and um, like moves along.
Yeah.
So um, I think we'll head over to Kib for a second. So Kib, you've made it down to engineering bay, where your team is working and what have you. Um, are you going to so you're going down to the engineering bay? Yeah. So I think they're kind of keeping things nailed down. Like there's maybe like when you get there, there's a there's maybe like one of your functionaries is like, sir, Mr. Kibb, sorry, we can't still can't seem to catch the video hacker. Uh, but we did lock him out faster this time though.
Right. Well, as long as you're working to, it could be entertaining to leave them. Ah, you're doing fine. That's good. That's good. That's good. Maybe.
It's like I think he's like, but I think you should look at some of these pieces. These are, and he kind of like walks over to a table. He's like, and he bring like a hollow table and like he punches in a couple of commands and like a holographic image of like four or five different parts that like you you have theories as to what they are or what they do, but they're not like any technology that you've seen before. And he's like, these five components were the latest that we've managed to get full scans on. We're still we still aren't really kind of able to make heads or tails of it. I kind of feel like at this point, I'm out of ideas. This doesn't match any registered technology in the frontier, the Pact Worlds, the Vescarium, the not even the Shadari Confederacy, at least for what we have. I'm
Okay,
beginning to think
I,
that we need to bring in maybe a historical expert because this stuff looks
that's what
old.
that's what I was thinking. Have you carbon dated like how old the components are?
Well, that's the problem.
Scott,
They
What?
you have a doctor that's good at that on board right now.
True.
he's like,
Okay,
well,
that's all I want to say.
he's like, that's the problem, and the most interesting thing about it, as near as we can tell, some of these parts predate the gap. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I know, I know. I mean,
Yes.
but I mean, that's the only thing we can come up with. They appear to be that old. Beyond how far beyond the gap? I couldn't. We couldn't exactly tell you, but we're still working on it. Uh, there's
Okay.
some
Syn
randomizing element.
randomizing?
Yeah, every time we feel like we've made some kind of progress on figuring out what exactly a particular component does or is for how it's supposed to work, it's almost like the laws of physics around it change, or the mechanical makeup works a different way than it appears to. It's a lot of dead ends, and we could use some context.
Okay. I'm gonna take this. I have few people I know that might help us get a general timeline of understanding, which will bring us a closer step to understanding what's deep down in here. So, yeah,
And it's
you're
like
doing great.
he's like, he goes, I took the liberty of he said I took the liberty of mailing you the what our results that we've got so far. Holographic pull aparts from at least 2 dozen different attempts, detailed notes from each of the engineers and science team working on it. The experiences each of them had it just, and even all of our, and even the results of our dating analysis. Uh, And you can just look in your your work folder. It's that been sent to you.
Okay. Um, yeah, that's good. For now, this I need to talk to other people to get a better thing. I got somebody I'm thinking of that could help us with the time thing. He's kind of that history type stuff that will be helpful. You're doing great. Anything else? Everything functioning on this ship right the way it should be? Do we still have materials? Do we need to send people to get materials? How we doing on just keeping the station afloat?
I mean, everything's nominal operation. The new construction, working on the expansion on the framework, uh, the structural the structural integrity reinforcements in section FJ, or in section J23, are uh, are in place. They're getting ready to start building in around the supports on the expansion in that area. The expansion in the area F41 is nearly completed. Uh, Areas A through B are completed except for the more habitational touches, things like the interior decoration, kind of carpets laid, wall panelings put in so it doesn't look just like gray wall panels, and that sort of thing. The polish on the polish, if you will.
Good. The more we can make it look better, I don't know what word I'm trying to. It'll bring more people to want to be here. You know, we're working on
Hey,
that too.
it goes absolutely. It's like some of the new habitat, like I said, habitats in sections A through B are just getting the last coat of polish on them. We were shouldn't be more than shouldn't be more than 48 hours, and they should be ready for assignment. Who are we sending sending that report to? Who's in charge of um, the well, I mean, who are we sending the okay and all clear to? Who's going to be in charge of assigning the rooms in the habitat areas, the new habitat areas?
I would believe that you could forward that to Philip Defoe, and she will find which group would be taking up that particular space.
He goes, uh, he goes, excellent. Thank you. We'll see to it.
Okay, good job.
Okay. He gives he nods and kind of goes. He's like Baines. I told you. No, the other one. The subsystems in the other section. Maybe we kind of hear that fading off as we kind of like switch our focus. Um, how are Philip? How are you preparing for all of this? Like, are you sending out messages to people you might want to potentially meet with? Are you talking to Crenville about reaching out to contacts through the syndicate? What does this look like?
Hi, I finally made it back to here.
Wow.
Sorry. So, yes, while Temerity was having her meeting, and I was thinking, I was like, oh, yeah, definitely tell the organization. Um, so, yes, I will tell Crenville, be like, hey, buddy, what's going on?
Is it? Yeah, I think. Where are you guys where this conversation is happening?
I assume that right now he would be in the casino security room. So,
Okay. All right. So yeah, maybe
right,
he's going over some casino security measures with some of the regular staff.
and so,
Actually, he's probably telling them somebody that's on the syndicate's VIP list at the moment.
hi, buddy, what's going on?
Just taking care of some business. Uh, Syndicate VIP needed a room and a tab for the night. Just telling security to give him a bit of a berth.
Anyone we know?
Eh, minor enforcer and fixer. Really, you know, no one of note. Although he goes, although I'm not. He goes, says he's here. Says he's in the Durelium system taking a vacation, handling some personal business.
Well, if you think we should keep an eye on him, we should keep an eye on him. But, um, let's go to your office.
And he goes, well, the head of this casino and the head of the casino security are off right now. I think we can use the offices here. And he kind of like leads you back towards like the back staircase up to the offices that they've got set up, which is not like terribly big, but it does have like the amenities in the sense that it's got like the security cameras and the security like screens so they can you can watch security from the office. Plenty of cameras over the pit bosses and or the dealers and stuff. um Maybe like as he comes in, he's like there's some personnel that's in there and he's just like, if you would, I need the room. And they kind of clear out. And he's like, he kind of goes and he goes over to like the mini bar off to the side and pours himself a drink. And it's like, and looks at you like expectantly, like, do you want one?
I'm good at the moment, thank you, dear.
And he's like, he shrugs.
Uh, comm screen, or not his comm screen, his video screen, and I'm like, check this out. This is what I did this week.
He looks at it and he's like,
Don't
hmm.
the edited version, so we skip most of the like things that don't need to be seen. But you see these, and I pause. I'm like, so I'm told that these are Elder God spawn, and the fucking thickness of fabric and time in this place is fucked up. So
Ooh.
that's what I did. We've already sent out some feelers because this is not necessarily something that I like. Oh, let me find the space needle and sew this shut. No, that's not what we do. Uh, we want someone else to kill them all.
Like, he kind of goes, oof. He goes, elder gods? He goes, yeah, I'm not necessarily certain we have any particular operatives that are set up for anything of that magnitude. He
I
goes,
start laughing.
he
No,
goes,
I don't expect us to deal with this. This is for someone else. This is beyond our pay grade, and the only way that we would deal with this right now is if they showed up on our front door. And I'm telling you right now, if they show up on our front door, run.
he's like,
Yeah,
he's like,
you've seen Rakarn?
yeah,
You've seen Rakarn since we got back. He is just now feeling better, and that's because, we finally got to a place that had the proper things to fix him. But he literally went 8 days with the fucking, what was it, his kidney?
yeah.
Yeah. With a hole in his kidney the size of a full spear. So,
Yeah, well, Rickarn is. I had a
that's
chance to look at the dossier for Rickarn before you guys took off. He comes well recommended, so it's not like this is some novice mercenary. He goes, um, he goes, he goes, and you showed him like the video of what happened to Ricard.
yes.
He goes, that's formidable right there. He goes,
Yeah.
is only people I could think of would be.
The footage is we're flying off, shooting them down as they try to. I'm like, yes. And that was just what we knew then. Then the doctor had shown us. That way he's got like a full feel for how the gravity of the situation is high.
I think he kind of looks at that. He's like,
Yeah, fuck us.
he goes, he goes, I'd recommend the Accord, but they're rather Sestra's battalions, our fleet is rather busy right now, and
Okay.
I don't even want to imagine what they would charge for a job like this.
Well, that sounds like an excellent idea. I think you underestimate their numbers. If we send ships at our current state, your sister included, if she took every ship she had, it would not be enough. Because if we start shooting them there, there's going to be more. Like, oh, they just killed our buddies. We can walk through this hole in space and time.
Mm. He goes,
It would be overtaken. Even an orbital bombardment would eventually fail. These scary smart.
it seems like he goes, as far as this may take one of the governmental powers to deal with. He goes,
We're also sending a package of like this to the Velquin um, people that might give a shit enough that they might do something about it. Otherwise, what I see is nothing we're doing here is going to matter because eventually that's going to come to fruition. And you know what? Since you're with me, let's go talk to Father Kareth.
uh, so, okay. He goes, I don't see what we'll get out of him that we haven't already. But, well, I'm willing.
Could either be an oh, I see, or we might see him get excited. If he gets excited, that's probably not a good thing. I call Temerity while we're leaving the casino office area. One ringy dingy, two ringy dingy.
Oh yeah, Temerity picks up. You got Temerity, what you gonna do about it?
Hello, dear. Have you ever told a religious zealot that he was right and the world may be coming to an end?
Oh god. It's like if you go to one of those Abadari or one of those Absalomian slums and just walk around and just tell any of them they're right. They're all thinking the world's gonna end.
Well, we're going to go have a meeting impromptu with Father Kareth if he'd like to join.
Jesta, do I have time for that before my meeting with what's his name from the Valley?
Quentin Malone.
Quinton Maloon, thank you. I knew it had an ooh sound in it.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, you already have the meeting? That's fine, dear. You meet with Quindon. That needs to happen.
All
Call,
right.
click. Bye.
Yeah.
all right. So you you get to you manage to make it to Father Karef and Krenvil with you. And he's at this point. By this point, he's kind of got his jacket like sort of over one shoulder, like and his sleeves rolled up. It's kind of like and he's kind of like of course, like his tie isn't even tied at this point. It's not just loose. Now it's just not even tied. And he's like following behind you. Like you get to Father Karef, and he is talking to a crowd about 999. That's the cycle. That's the cycle. You must remember 999. And then the final feast, and the bones and the house death will come upon. And then he goes, where the blackened rune, where the onyx skull, for they are the harbingers of doom. And like, uh, yeah, and they're like maybe there's like, but he sees you approaching, and he's like, and he goes, ah. It appears I must speak with the station's commander once more. If you will all please excuse me, we will. You can come back tomorrow at the same time. He's yeah.
Is a perfect point to fucking jump to Mira.
Who just went is going to be RB here in a minute.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. All right, you're already back.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna heat up food, but I decided to open another beer instead. Let's go.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Sometimes that's the right choice, I guess.
Yeah.
So Temerity, you managed to you actually meet with Quentin Malone would actually meet with you. Like he could meet with you in his office, or you could have him meet you in like one of the conference rooms, or
Power
or
move. I have him meet me in my office.
okay, yeah. So you're Quinn Malone shows up and he's wearing like his usual, like mostly, grays and blacks with the splash
Mhm.
of, with the, sort of the splash of color here and there as the sort of like royal purple blue, carnate, flower that is pinned to sort of like his lapel of his
Yeah.
vest. And like his shirt is and his shirt is sort of like uh, a brighter red color. Um,
Yeah.
but most of
Um.
his suit is like grays and blacks and very well cut. And he kind
Yeah.
of arrives. He arrives, and when he arrives at your office, I think you probably, and he's got his hair kind of swept back in a ponytail with um, he's kind of, and he is a Svartalvar. He's a
Mm,
Shadow Fae.
gotcha.
Um, so he's got the so he's humanoid size. He's about like an elf tall, I guess, and with longer, sort of pointier ears maybe. He's but everything about him states that he has a sort of style. And while it may
Yeah.
not be super resplendent for other members of the, station, certainly from what you've seen of Velquin fashion, he's pretty flamboyant.
Okay.
um,
Um. I
ah,
definitely in my office, even though it is like cramped and small.
hmm
I definitely have that tapestry that I bought from Valen Sewer on the back
yeah.
wall, like
Oh,
proudly
excellent,
displayed.
excellent, yeah.
And be like, Mr. Maloon, it is a pleasure to finally meet you in a one-on-one, just you and me capacity. Reach out
Ah,
and shake his hand.
yeah. He shakes your hand. He sits down. And he goes. He goes. Well, truth be told, things have been running so smoothly around here since with the deal originally, I wasn't certain when I would be talking to you. I understand you're handling a lot of the outward-facing business for the station these days.
That I am. I would happen to currently be the. Oh god, I have to look at the code again for my title. I'm the fucking. I would happen to be the head of personnel at the moment. Um, and be like, and of course, with that comes with all the details that come with foreign affair and domestic affair, kind of the catch-all.
Hmm. He goes. He goes. And what can I do for you today?
Well, Mr. Maloon, I would like to open by asking you a question. Are you
Oh.
familiar with quid pro quo?
He kind of chuckles. He goes, Ma'am, I have been serving Count Lesib's family since before the Count himself came of age. I am well versed in the politics of favor for a favor. You don't serve a member of the royal court of the Valquin Empire without being a little bit handy with the occasional dealings.
Excellent. Well then, I certainly have a quid for your pro quo, my friend. And
Hmm.
would kind of lean back and say, before anything else, and this is completely irrespective of business, at some point I would love if you were to bring in a piece of Veliquin history or something along those lines, an artifact or a piece of art that you think is significant in some way or endemic. I would love to purchase something like that. Not that I'm accusing you of being a common seller, but I figure I would love to get to know your culture better, and as you can see, kind of pointing at the previous purchase, I
He,
do enjoy dabbling in the collection and learning of other cultures.
he kind of He goes, "Oh, aspiring patron of the arts. I may
That
know a few people."
that would be certainly amenable. I'll definitely have to speak to you after we handle business about something like that, because that would definitely be. I'm very interested, and it is, and Temerity is going to lean in with all earnesty and be like, and it is a cultural thing. I would prefer to know who I'm doing business with, and I feel the best lens for that is art or history.
He goes, "You, that is quite certainly a very well worldly view. Uh, a great many connections are made in the art galleries and the viewing of artifacts of lore." He goes, "But I assume you're not coming here simply with a request. You didn't bring me here simply to talk about culture and art."
No. No, I actually bring much more scintillating news.
He goes, "Scintillating. Oh, that'll
Yes,
certainly upset plenty of folks in the court.
certainly.
I'm all ears."
I would, before we do any of this, I would request a sense of discretion. I have about a 24-hour rider on this before this actually gets out. I feel it'll help people make clearer decisions with the information that I can put forward.
Okay, I'm willing to continue listening.
And she kind of like leans back and says, I understand that it is of the Veliquin Empire's prerogative to, let's say, manage and contain magical research and potential magical threats, is it not?
Um, no more or less so than any empire, but we uh, we do dabble in what we do occasionally when it meets our interests.
Well, I have a potential interest point. Could be looked at as hard or soft power. And I'm going to make a diplomacy roll real quick, because I'm
Okay,
definitely trying to sell this information.
all right.
Um, let's see here. Boo boo boo. Hey, and a 26 ain't bad. Um, but yeah, it could be used as an expression of hard power, and in the end, could be used as a expression of soft power, even. I have information on a, let's say, a dimensional breach of sorts. One that's a little bit above the purview of the current holders of this knowledge.
He goes, he goes, he's like, "And what exactly are you asking in return for such knowledge?" I'm
There's
not,
sim. Say what?
he goes, "I'm no fool. I understand the currency is of this station tends to be information. Who's buying, who's selling, who's got who knows where the shipment, what shipping lanes are full of cargo and wealth, and who knows which aren't." He
I.
goes, "I understand the value of knowledge."
You're a shrewd man, Mr. Maloon. I won't pitter patter around it. There's a case. I don't exactly know what's in the case, but I know it's nothing of national security. Nothing that would cause any direct domestic stir. But a case nonetheless that needs to make it through customs that I think otherwise might go under unfair scrutiny. Just a single crate. And as I said, I can guarantee you it is not dangerous.
Hmm. It's a fairly large ask. The information had better be worth it.
We're
I
playing the
go,
same ball game at the moment, though, no? Are we roughly on a similar page?
roughly.
Probably would say we found a transdimensional rip. Well, rip isn't the right word. I believe it was intentionally opened to send reinforcements through on one of our scientific ventures for the station. We have lost control of that installation, and we fear that there is a sector-wide threat that is beginning to form in that area, something that the local governments certainly should know about.
Sector-wide influence? And he goes, what kind of threat could be a threat big enough that you are attempting to sell, that you're, what threat could be big enough to fit the bill that you're putting up there?
We believe that elder gods and the Migo, if you are familiar, are involved. Not just believe, we have proof. And at this point, I'm going to airdrop him the pictures that we have. Not the dossier,
Okay.
just the pictures.
All right. I think this is a moment where you guys are kind of feeling each other out.
And I
So,
would love to make a sense motive.
yeah. So,
A 20! Hey! I rolled an 18 for that.
all right. Do you have anything else you add to that as an envoy?
No, most of my stuff is based on bluffing out my ass.
Okay. So, wait a minute. As an envoy, you should automatically get the
Oh,
extra
yeah, I
d6
get my
the
expertise
extra
die.
d, your
Yep.
expertise dice for sense motive at first level. So,
That is
well,
21.
it's one higher than you had.
Yeah. Yeah, no, every point counts.
It's kind of hard to read what his reaction is. There is some concern on his face. He kind of sits and looks at it for a minute. He kind of you can see him kind of zoom in and sort of like pan around in the view and what have you, stop, pause, and reverse and look at things, and he goes, "You found a couple of dangerous alien species?" He goes, he goes, "That does
Dan-
look like a rather brutal stab."
and, well, let's just say dangerous is to take them lightly. And you do not want to underestimate this foe. Hyper intelligent, absolutely lethal in both melee and ranged combat, and at the same time, they appear to be coming in great numbers. As I
Great
said,
numbers.
as I
How
said,
great a numbers?
as we were leaving, we saw a rift open. And roughly how many do you think I would estimate came out of there? Dozens? Hundreds?
Oh, it was probably at least in the hundreds, and it
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
And the threads of reality seemed frayed like strings blowing in the wind.
Yeah, I definitely would say this transdimensional portal, and it was certainly something I had never seen the likes of, was birthing hundreds of these things.
Hundreds.
We could barely take on one individual with four of us.
He goes, "What's the name of the mercenary?" "The orc. This one."
Kinda says, for what reason?
"Well, if I'm going to assess exactly how dangerous these things are, I have to know exactly how dangerous the mercenary they nearly killed was."
His name's Rakarn. He appears to be worth his salt.
He's like, he kind of looks at it and goes, "Give me an hour to verify Rakarn's history and record and other related data and other related information, and I'll let you know."
Probably will say, if you are wishing for the coordinates to the area, I'd be more than happy to provide them upon guarantee of safe passage of this package?
Give me an hour and I'll give you my decision.
Kind of nods, and no matter how this plays out, I do still want to peruse art.
He
And
goes,
kind of reaches out a
oh,
hand.
he goes, of absolutely. He goes, this being as big of a matter of state, I have to do my due diligence, you understand.
Understood, of course. And yeah, I'll definitely shake his hand, and
Yeah,
I'll, kind of let him leave the office.
yeah.
And
He goes,
oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
He goes on to check his sources.
Yeah, and probably in like the quiet moment beforehand, like Temerity closes the door and then like
Yeah.
grabs a bottle from the ground and just like screams and hurls it at the door and is just like, okay, fuck, and then like dials back fucking Philip.
All right. So, Philip, you're there, and Father Karef has approached you, and Crenville.
Right. It's with me. I made
And
him
he's
come.
like, he goes, Commander or Councilwoman, never entirely certain. The titles are largely irrelevant, even my own, in, in the grand scheme of things.
We would like your.
You got cut
Would,
off.
oh, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
We would like your assessment of a situation. Would you be willing to follow us to the meeting room?
He he nods and he nods and he says, he nods and says, by all means.
Again, I text Grenville and I'm like, remind me we should set up some sort of like fried or popped nut stand near him and make a killing.
Ah,
As we walk down the hallway, past the mall, or through the mall and to the meeting room. So, right about then is when you call?
yeah, probably.
Uh,
I pause and I look at Father Karef and I'm like, one moment. Hello, dear. How was your meeting?
That's a great question. I don't exactly know, but we'll know in an hour.
Mm. Well, then you have time. How close to the meeting rooms are you? Oh, yeah, you're in the mall. So you're not. So
I
we're
can
about to
sprint.
the meeting rooms. No need to sit there. Take your time. We'll wait.
Yeah, and Temerity will definitely, regardless of the take your time, Temerity will sprint,
Okay.
just so I can use the cut through ability for
You-
Street Rat, which lets me go through urban areas quickly.
Okay, so you want to go through urban areas. Otherwise, you're small enough. You
yeah.
consist of isekai tunnels that aren't booby trapped.
Yeah, I could use that, but Temerity doesn't trust the booby trap map.
Yeah, you're able to like get through the crowd.
So
You're able to get through the crowd and get to the meeting room.
Yeah.
I asked Father Karef if he'd like a glass of water, knowing that.
I don't
No?
think he. No, he's like, oh, I'm fine.
Good, good. I go ahead and pour a triple for temerity and then gesture.
And then you got cut off.
Damn it.
Yeah, you're getting cut off a lot.
What's the last thing you heard?
And
Poured a
then
triple for me, and then something, something, something Jester.
Okay. So, triple for you, then triple for me, and then I gesture at the bottle at Crenville and go, questioning face.
yeah, Prinville is nods and he'll have a drink.
And I hold up one finger, then two fingers, then.
He just does. He just gives you two fingers.
Mm. I pour him two fingers then, and then we
Yeah.
wait for temerity.
Yeah. Oh, Temerity just slams the drink back immediately.
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't hear that you'd made it yet. My bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I
This was
think
So
Temerity gets in the room, huffing and breathing heavily, like, okay, I got here as fast as I can. Oh, is that for me? Oh, thanks. And just like drinks the entire fucking triple and slams the cup down and goes, who's the crazy guy?
yeah,
crazy guy at least once. Well, you've walked by the crazy guy several times, but this is Father. He is a well, we call him a priest of, and then I gesture at Father Craft.
I'm a priest of Xiphus, the god of accidental deaths. My lord was kicked out of a pantheon of the greater deities of death, and they are coming.
Yes, yes, that's why we need your expertise. Um, we go through the edited footage, not the full footage, and skip immediately to the thin space and fabric and time, and then jump forward to the creatures themselves. And while he is watching, I am sensing like a monster, and I text him to do so as well.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I had to reload.
15.
And I do. Woo!
So he seems completely unperturbed. He looks at it and he goes, and he just kind of shrugs his shoulders. He goes,
What do you know about these things? Do you know anything at all?
he looks at him and goes, they're every bit as irrelevant as you are, as I am, as everyone on this station is.
Now,
Right, but
why,
they.
why do we
Go ahead. I'm sorry, dear.
why do we have fruitcake here again?
Fruit dabbles in this sort of thing, so if he had any.
He goes, this? No, no. All things that live die, and all things that do live will die, and including these, whatever irrelevancy they are.
All right. Remind me what the name of this god is, doctor, or these were from.
I'm sorry, you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, what was the god of these guys? Like, that they are servants under?
There was no specific, like Dr. Pargish Oras said they serve the elder gods and the outer god, the various elder and outer gods, like the elder mythos. Like there's no one god that they're necessarily completely tied to.
I related to ref, and I'm like, I thought maybe these were helpful to yours as well.
They are irrelevant. He goes, they are irrelevant. When the black skull and the onyx rune arrive, that will signal the end. These are irrelevant.
What if these are what brings the black skull?
He goes, he chuckles and he goes, you see, they cannot. They are living things. The host, he goes, the host that is coming are not. They are neither dead nor alive. This, these are living creatures. All things die.
Hmm.
When the cycle is complete, all things die.
I while listening, start texting Kib on my comm, and the text reads, "Kib, I believe we may have unintentionally made your cousins the end of times being sent." Um, and then go back to listening.
He's like, he says, and he goes, if you wish to know more about that, he goes, if you wish to know more, then I suggest you pay attention to the prophecies, the elder prophecies of Vestia.
Hmm. I believe we have a copy of those somewhere.
He goes, he goes, no, my friend, this comes from far beyond yours. Though there is one person on the station besides myself who has connection to that older, to the birthplace of the end, though they don't know it, nor do they represent the host in any way. They simply come from the same corner.
What corner is that again?
One far, far away. One whose jump coordinates I once knew, but then I also no longer know. You see, it was burned out of my brain,
Hmm.
burned away by all of the old magic in order to protect the host long from in order to protect the host's secrecy until time that they arrive. But they couldn't stop me from spreading the message that they're coming.
Oh dear God. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, Temerity is just sitting there with like her face in her hands, just like Jesus Christ, what am I listening to?
I've poured
Like,
you at least more drinks since this all started.
yeah,
Yeah,
Temerity drinks some more.
yeah. He goes, "Good evening." He goes, "Good evening to you, uh,
Yes.
Counsel." And he goes, "And you as well, Mister Crenville." And Crenville just kind of looks at him and shakes his head. He's like, whatever. He's like fucking and he's like, I think maybe he did it like for the first time in like a long time. You see him actively act like a mob agent might and be like, "You were told to leave. I suggest you do so." And Father Karef just kind of goes, "As you wish," and leaves.
After he leaves, we lock the door. I pour Crenville a double again, and you both. I thought perhaps, since it dealt with the end of a universe coming, that that fool would know something. Crenville, remind me why we don't just put him in the corpse recycler.
Well, probably because he's got enough people listening to him and following that it might cause problems.
Oh, come
Uh,
on. Let's just drop a piano on him. He's all about accidental
also,
death.
Been keeping an eye on him this entire. People is
also, also, I do believe the fact that he was completely willing to go through the corpse recycler and die had something to do with it.
Oh, yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
yes, we'd be setting him free.
Yeah. 'Tis far worse a fate to have to stay on this bitch of a planet or a space station. I
You know
didn't
what?
say
Uh,
that.
I just realized I texted Kib in the middle of it, and still haven't heard back from him. Maybe we should put him on conference call.
Wait.
Go ahead.
I need to talk to you about something, and Credful, as much as I respect you as a professional, I think this needs to stay between me and the councilwoman.
he
All
kind
right.
of looks at you, Philip,
It sounds like a
boss,
good idea.
and he goes,
Hey, it's important, you know, the rule of not the rule. The rule of the need to know will apply to you.
he nods and he
Yeah.
goes, "All right, boss. I'll be." He goes, "I've got some things I need to take care of as anyway." He goes,
Thanks for coming. I apologize for it not being more eventful.
yeah. So yeah, so you two have the room.
Yeah,
Crenville leaves.
I
and be
relocked
like,
the
so,
well.
I have some information for you that I've been accumulating, and I want you to know I trust you a lot, or else I wouldn't be telling you this information.
Okay.
Kind of goes, I've gotten into the bounty hunters, that much you know.
Mm.
But the end to this bounty hunters, and this absolutely has to stay between us. I don't trust Kib to not, you know.
Unfortunately, sometimes we do have to.
Kind of goes, the in I have, I believe comes from some sort of oh god, hold on. Yeah, some sort of Astrozoan ethnicity group, some sort of Astrozoan cabal. They're wanting favors, and I've been obliging them so far because their favors have been good in return. But I want you to know there's something going on, and I'm trying to find my way to the bottom of it. But I'm not going to be like, you know, I'm not going to be. I know where my food comes from.
Mm.
Thoughts?
I mean, it sounds like a decent idea. Having at least one bounty hunters guild here uh, will make it more annoying for those that are trying to be sneaky or just not giving a damn in general.
I just tried to make a deal with the Veliquin Empire to get a case of something of theirs through their security.
Oh, interesting. I hope you turn your tight.
Say what?
Damn it. I said, I hope you turn a tidy profit.
Oh, the Prophet is getting us into the Bounty Hunter Guild.
Say, who is here that we could ask for help with that? Someone that might already even have like proper equipment on their ship to hide such a shipment.
Kind of goes. Well, I'll tell you. Where is it? Oh, there he goes. Sean, can you put in the chat the 3 names of the houses or of the bounty hunters? Por favor.
Let me go find them and make sure I'm right on this.
That way I can copy paste it. Welcome back.
Yes, I was like, I'll take this moment to jump out and jump back in. Hopefully it
Okay.
works.
Yeah. No, that has worked. It seems that your voice is coming in much clearer.
Good, I'm glad.
I'm kind of trying to remember the group that we have an in with right now.
Wasn't it the ones with all the rules?
It wasn't the House of the Hound, and I don't remember the other 2.
So
it was the Pale
first,
Hunters, Manacle
yeah.
Handlers. That's us. That's the one that
Nope.
we have an intro in, right?
I thought you were going for the Pale Hunters.
Are the Pale Hunters the ones that have the looser code of conduct?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, we're going for the Pale Hunters. My bad.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, be like, currently we've gotten into the Pale Hunters. I don't really know too much about the other 2 groups, but if you can get an in to either the House of the Hound or the Manacle Handlers Incorporated, those would be significant boons as well, and could maybe help us deal with our bounty hunter problem.
Well, no, it's been a while since I've dealt with that sort of riffraff. Do I know anyone?
Ooh.
Jessa?
You
Or perhaps...
don't.
Go ahead.
You don't know any bounty hunters that are necessarily friendly to you. You know the names of a couple of bounty hunters that you had heard at one point were on Kibb's trail.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, there was Moonsnow, who was the one who told Death Arms he had been kicked out of the guild.
Mm.
And let me see if I can find the other ones. Because see where are they at? There was Doriso Anofed, who is a Lashunta psychic investigator, and a Dr. Vives, who is a drone biohacker.
Mm.
But those are the 3 bounty hunter names you heard getting thrown around when you first got here that were specifically after Kib. And Moonsnow is the
Was the
only one that Moonsnow was the Vlaka, and he was
Rock?
the only one that you know of who's actually set foot on the station before.
Well, and had an honorable code of conduct while they were here.
Yeah, you basically, well, for a
Temerity,
bounty hunter.
get a hold of this Vlaka and see if we can parlay business through him.
What's the name again?
Moonsnow.
Kind of goes, yes, the classic naming convention of 2
Was
words crammed into one.
was that 27 high enough that I actually remember the name of the guild he was in? Or they were
No,
in?
because no, and that's more because no one ever actually mentioned
Uh,
what guild they were part of.
okay.
For what you actually what you would known of um, is not the guild that they specifically worked for, but they were on contract with Captain Dravovok, the former
Savage
current
Circle, yes.
Savage Circle pirates.
So he was
He was
working
working
for the Savage Circle. That'll give you a place to start looking for him. I believe they operate out of, and then Jester fills in the blank.
Well, you don't know how, but you only know of one pirate captain in there, and you don't know where exactly he operates from.
It was only Death Arms that actually got, almost killed from. So
Because Death Arms was the only one that went there, and he never told you guys where there was.
And is this
I do know who knows where.
is this a friendly person to us, or should I be walking on eggshells?
Eggshells.
Got it.
Eggshells and ballet shoes.
So, legal notice, not personal communique. Got
Definitely not.
it.
Captain Worthy knows. Because he took Death Arms there and back.
Where is Worthy anyway? He's always good for a drink.
He is always good for a drink. Last I checked, when we arrived, Worthy was not on board. In fact, most of the people I wanted to talk to weren't on board. So I did receive some interesting communications from my friend in the Order.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, Crazy Bones, Dr.
Father, correct?
Father, yeah, I was like, nope, I'm going through all the wrong ones. I was like, Rabbi, that's not right either. Father Kareth, and the background and why he left the Order of Kaboy in the first place, and it's pretty intense. In fact, once again, really, I should just go with my gut instinct and kill anybody I have a bad feeling about.
I feel like you would have killed me already.
No, your bonuses there definitely outweigh your negatives.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, you haven't made me a major, I have a venerable foe, all because of Kib.
Yeah,
and it's
no,
my
my whole
fault.
goal is
I mean,
to
I do like to
relieve
blame Kib, but it's my fault that decision was made because I asked him what he wanted to do, and we went with it. I was like, let's see what Kib wants to do.
Yeah.
Oh, he did it. Oh, and now this has happened. Fuck.
Well, sometimes you just gotta learn.
I hope
Honestly,
Kib
I
was
don't know
listening in the background for that because, yeah, it's my fault just as much as it is yours, Bo.
Yeah.
That's
And
generally
there you
how
go.
everything goes with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Speaking of Kib, now that we've talked about this,
Well, one more thing. Sorry.
okay. No, you're fine.
How do you want me to handle these Astrozoan operatives of sorts? They clearly seem to be doing business on our station. I'm working with them for right now. Ostensibly, they seem like a reasonable party, if not a little bit clandestine.
I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. Let's go ahead and leave you to what you're currently doing. And should it get out of hand, we'll take care of it then.
Understood. kind of gives up a salute. Okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Kib, what do you guys ring Kib?
Well,
Or am I just cutting away too?
at some point, Kib definitely got that text from me.
Okay. So
So, Kib, at some point while you're down there, you get a text that says, "Us trying to bring your cousin back from the dead may have brought around the end of the world, and it's our fault."
Bruh. He kind of looks at the phone and is like, I gotta talk to the doctor now.
all right.
You
Mm.
guys,
You
yeah.
are you gonna
So,
call them back, or are you gonna go straight to talk to
I
somebody?
wanted, I have updates for them, but I need to go at least give these information about the components to the doctor so he can carbon date them as well, and then kind of give him that little job to work on. Then I'll be like, I wanted to give you, and then I would call Philip and give him updates about the station, I guess.
All right. So yeah, I think you find Doctor Orask in back in his room at this point. Um, they've they've outright banned him from going into the casino at this point. Um, actually, you know what? That's not where he's at. He's actually down in boards, booze, and bitches, losing his ass off at cannons and black holes.
Mm.
My man.
Yeah, we're gonna
You
have to ground him if he doesn't get better soon.
Oh, Temerity is an encourager. You can ground him, but Temerity will be feeding him booze.
No, no, not from booze, from gambling.
Oh yeah, good point.
I
he's
don't care if
getting
he's an alcoholic, so long as he can keep his shit together. But creating a gambling debt that I'm paying off, pretty soon he's going to have to be doing things that he doesn't want to do just so he can drink. Um, Not those kind of things. I was merely speaking about projects that he might not want to work on. All right, so where were we? You told the
Okay.
doctor, now you called us?
Yeah. So I
so
go up to the doctor. I was like, hey, I have this info. How much have you lost already?
uh uh maybe it's not better that you ask, and they're like at
Ask
that
the other
point
guy.
or at that point like a rather large like a rather large we'll say an extangy like
Ooh.
stands up. He's you know he's reptilian, but he's got the head that looks similar to a praying mantis, and he's got that barbed tail which is you know waving back and forth menacingly, and it's like say it's like and it's like, you can't leave now. You've got, uh, you can't leave now. You owe me 500 credits.
Oh, I'm not asking for him to leave. I'm just providing him with his next project after it gets done.
No,
Um,
no, no, no.
even out.
I gotta, I got, no, I mean, I should probably go work on this project now. I mean, he's obviously terrified.
Hey,
We'll give the
if
man his
you're
money
gonna
and go.
get into how
Like,
much is okay,
he, he's,
let's
he
do
just,
all right. Here's the thing. Let's do one round. I'll sit down, do one round and see how I could do against you to clear out his debt. Right?
he's like, Uh, this is gonna be terrible. But I think he's just like, who are you?
Council person Kib.
I'm council member Kib. Yeah.
Oh, he kind of looks at you. He kind of looks at him and he goes,
Point at your
"Well
picture on the
then,
wall.
well he goes, well then, yeah, you're a perfect witness. I challenge him to a duel of honor under the code."
All right, Kib, this is where you tell him that he can have a fucking stand-in.
I
Yeah,
checked the tablet for the status of that one dude.
Which
Ricard?
one?
Picard, yeah.
Ricard.
Picard.
You could do that, or you are in Borts. You could look around. There may be one or two people you know here too.
Make a perception check.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look at him and be like, well, and then look around and be like,
All right. I mean,
you can try.
he's- you you just sort of glance around like, whatever. Fucking, um, yeah. I think he's like, I think he's like, um, I think he looks at you like, is there anything in the code about like who sets the time and the place for the duel?
It has to be 24 hours beforehand, and the issuer of the duel is at the whims of the issuee for what the duel is and where it is. Typically, though,
Okay.
duels are expected to happen in the heck.
Yeah.
And it does
he's-
not say that duels have to be to the death.
Yeah, he's like 24 hours. Whatever weapon you choose, whatever challenge you choose. He goes, he goes, I'll see you in the hollow entertain, or I thought it was in the combat training facility.
Yeah, it would be. You're right. It would be the combat
Well,
training
I
facility.
mean, technically, if we had it in the hex, that's pretty safe too. There are protocols in there for all of that. In theory.
I think. Well, I think he'd probably default to the combat training facility,
That
because that'd
sounds fine.
probably be where he'd be like, combat training facility, and whatever weapon you want, whatever challenge you want. He goes, and and he kind of stomps off. He kind of like the rest of the table look. The rest of the table kind of looks on and kind of watching this. Um, Gib, what's your reaction to this?
Listen, okay. He said weapons are not physical things that hold. Your mind could be a weapon, right? So you could outsmart the big, ugly looking thing. So think. You have intelligence. You have know how. Think about how you want to approach this. Here's the information that when you survive that in the next 24 hours, give me a date on when this stuff was created. You are digging yourself a hole, but I kind of need your intellect too. So figure it out. I have other business to attend to. Good day.
I love how fucking callous
Yes!
that was. I love how callous that was. It
That
was
was
like,
great. Temerity
Wait.
could no notes. No notes.
that was fucking hilarious. Like, this is your fucking problem. Deal with it, survive, and do my fucking work.
Kib's saying for tomorrow, you got yourself in trouble, get the carbon dating done.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That definitely makes the Kib saying of the on the board tomorrow. The Kib saying of the day.
And Kib just gets up and walks out of boards and then calls up Philip.
Yeah, I think
Hello.
yeah, go for it.
Oh, he brings him up. So, hello? Ring ring or whatever.
Yeah. Hello. What's going on? Have you made it back up from the bottoms?
Yes and no. First of all, my cousin has brought about the end of the what?
That's going to need to be a personal time conversation, dear friend. I don't want to try to do this over the phone. But
Okay,
what else are you going to say?
where are you? And I'll head that way because I actually have two issues to address to you in a minute. One's kind of thematical things. Anyways, Where are you at?
We're on the way to the casino for food.
Okay, I'll meet you at the casino.
We'll wait outside for you.
Okay.
You hear in the background, you hear Temerity go, "Hi, Kib, I'm drunk as fuck."
Right. That reminds me. Before we go, you should probably do a line to level up.
Oh, yeah, of course. Just rips the line immediately. Of course, you're only speaking logically.
Well, and I mean, I did make you that ring for a reason. So.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, your fancy ring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And after that, we start heading to the casino. We wait outside until Kid gets there.
You all managed to arrive there.
Hey, buddy. You
Okay.
hungry?
So eventually.
Okay.
So we have a problem. The doctor seems to not be able to control his gambling addiction.
Well,
He's
yes.
been
And he's
challenged.
an alcoholic. And he's got probably some other issues. But go on.
He's been challenged by some big thing for combat thing. I told him to fix it. He's doing some work for me to figure out how old some of the stuff in this station is. It's kind of weird. We're trying to get a date to figure out deeper within, and we're figuring that part out.
You need the
Well, I
doctor
mean,
alive, right?
Yeah, I
yes.
told him to use his brain. He's the doctor could choose whatever weapon he wants, and I informed him his brain could technically be considered a weapon. Did he wants
No,
to get
that's
into trouble? He could figure this shit out himself. Because
that's
Right.
smart. If
Kid,
I may make a suggestion, Kib, you might want to step in as the adjudicator, because there needs to be an adjudicator for every duel, and we get to take precedent as adjudicators of these duels, which means that you might be able to save his life from a pissed off alien.
Or you could just pay off Rakan.
Or you could just pay off for Karn. That's a good idea. You know what, Councilwoman? Great idea.
I'll consider it. I have 24 hours to come up with maybe a logical plan. Anyway, so you, Philip, you're gonna get information from the crew down in engineering. They have finished completing the constructions of sections. What did he say?
24B?
A through B or something like that.
Oh. Well, that's even better.
But all they have to do is like the logistical interior design stuff, and it should be done in the next 24 hours. And I told the dude that he just needs to tell you on who's going to inhabit that location, since
Mm.
I figured you had that work up.
Right. New level.
Yeah.
Clean everything. We can rent those out for an extra price if we need to. Maybe move some of the higher quality members of our ship down to them.
And I did get the exact time. Section F41. That's almost done. That expansion area is almost complete. It didn't give me exact time on how it's going to be complete, but that's almost done too.
Well, at this point, between both of us, your people are informed that if we're not available, they inform Colovian, and she'll take care of it.
Yeah, but I figured you would want to know the upkeep. Like in my previous job, that's what I did. I informed them.
Yes, and I appreciate that. You know that you're my favorite engineer that's not an engineer. Sorry, mechanic that's not a mechanic. You are an engineer.
I just find it fascinating on how this thing works.
Well, as someone that's formally trained, watching you fucking manage to fucking pull off what you do is amazing. A little irritating due to the, basic OCD that most engineers eventually have. But if it works, I don't fix it.
You know what, Kib? I think you're worth the trouble. And that means a lot coming from me.
What?
I turn
Okay, I did one bad thing. Most of the other
one
stuff
bad
were-
thing. Ah.
This is where, if this were a TV series, we'd get the smash cut of every time Kim stuck his foot in his mouth and fucked something up. Like we get the smash cut of him pissing off the
Android
purpose of self
representative.
for point one. We'd get like the shooting fucking Clutchell in the face. We'd get like every time he dropped information he shouldn't have dropped in front of people. Like, I did one bad thing.
Yeah. I think
For the
Temerity will
most
be,
part.
yeah. I think Temerity will be like, Kib, I gotta have you do one thing. That is, I need you to make sure that for the next 24 hours, you and your department stays quiet about what we found on that planet. Right? Just 24 hours. Past that, anyone who knows can know whatever you deem to be appropriate. We gotta give Zerk Silversoul some time to work his magic.
Oh, I thought you guys were all dealing with that. I didn't even bother
good.
telling anybody about none of that because I
Oh.
thought you two were doing it.
Excellent.
Good
We
job,
are.
kid.
Good job, kid.
All right. Yeah. So, um,
So, since we have spent most of the day, and I look at the time, and I'm like, and half of the night, let's all try to get some sleep. We live in the morning. We leave in the morning for the Time Dragon's moon.
Do
And
I get a text back
you
from...
you actually get a text to
Oh, an hour. Yeah.
from Quindon Maloon to meet him in his office.
Okay.
See you guys later. Or see you later, hon.
Yeah, I'll be like, well,
In the morning.
this is either doomsday for our relationship with the League of Hell, or not League of, for the Veliquin Empire, or it's great news.
I assume, due to
Uh-huh.
my dealings with them, that it will be. Well, he'll be telling you. Otherwise, it'd be bland and full of a lot of words that all mean blah. Okay.
And yeah, Temerity will go to that meeting for sure when that comes up.
Yeah. So you get to his office, and it's not terribly large, but it is appointed well enough, and he with a certain amount of flair of his own. He goes, and he kind of when you get in, he's like a when you walk in, he's like, please shut the door behind you.
Yeah, Temerity will close the door and offer a snoot from her flask.
He kind of shakes his head and he says, and he presses a button and he's like, or he presses a button and he's like, I will be unavailable for the next. I will be unavailable until further notice. Uh, please give all interested parties my regrets, and that I'll tell them I'll return their correspondences as soon as I can. And he kind of looks around soon when you sit down, he says, "We have a deal. I need the cargo package number, but I'm also going to, on a personal note." And he kind of looks around. He grabs like he pulls something out of his desk, some kind of remote thing, and he clicks off, and he kind of clicks around, turning off internal cameras and stuff. It looks like, and he goes, on a personal note, you may not want to pull on this thread too hard. He goes, he goes, we're more than willing and have great favor for the station, but this, and he slides and he turns and he, points to the tablet that, that has the video from your stuff on your trip on there. He goes, This you may not want to delve into.
Oh,
This is
believe
a
me, we want nothing to do with it other than to ensure it doesn't become a larger problem.
I'd simply recommend not getting involved. He goes, there are, let's just say, well, I was able to confirm that your mercenary Ricard comes regarded well. It's impressive, it's rather impressive how dangerous these things are. However, there was a bit of pushback when I spoke to some people about this issue. Your
Hmm.
package will make its way to where it needs to go as long as I've got once you send me the package number.
Oh yeah,
No
immediately
questions
send.
asked. It'll make its way through customs. But be very, very careful. Something tells me there's something more to this than, well, just this. And then he
Mr.
kind of
Maloon, I am a river to my people. I don't intend to flood the valley.
he kind of nods and he goes, let's not speak of this anymore. And
Hmm.
he kind of like turns the cameras back on whatnot. He goes, I do look forward to doing business with you at a further business with you.
Of course, and if the League of
Um,
Helladis, or not, god damn it, I keep doing that. And if the Veliquin Empire happens to have a vested interest in shopfront or employee from the station, please feel free to come to me first. I can move mountains in the name of progress.
he nods and he says, he nods. He says, and enjoy. He says, he goes, I look forward to doing the business. And he shakes your hand and he stands up and walks around the table. And as he's walking around the table, he very uh, cheerfully adds, and if you are ever in the capital city for the Velquin Empire, Count Lesub would bid you to come visit him, to pay a visit. And when he gets close and goes to shake your hand, he he turns his face just a bit away from just to a weird angle from the cameras, and he mouths the words, "Be careful."
Yeah, I think Temerity will shake his hand and pull back with that perfect stapled on smile that she always has,
Hmm.
and says, and a pleasure working with you as well. And probably says, oh, and send the regards of the station to your employers. We would be more than excited if they ever decided to visit. And of course, we can guarantee some complimentary casino vouchers.
He kind of chuckles. He says, "Indeed." He says, "Indeed." If you'll excuse me, I have a few contacts that I need to speak to. Because
Yeah,
in
and I
back in the Empire, and take care of our business.
and I will definitely send him both the cargo tracking number, and
Mhm.
because I promised it, I will send him the coordinates to the area. Though it sounded like he didn't want to get involved in that, but he was happy to have the information. I still would rather him get those coordinates so that it is in fact we traded. Like we can call it even.
Yeah, but yeah, he definitely yeah. So you're that business, and you're as you're leaving the within minutes of your leaving the Maloon's office, you as you're kind of walking down the aisle, you kind of find that there is there's a isekai kind of walking beside you. You're not quite sure when he kind of like when he, started walking the hallway with you. You assume it was during the point where you were in the more crowded sections of the hallway, but you're kind of getting down into like some of the less busy and whatnot. And there's a moment where like, and you recognize you recognize him as Urgic, the sort of like the isekai that's been acting as your go-between with Cobb Macabre.
Yeah, I'm gonna dip into a alleyway,
Mhm.
and casually just stand there with my arms crossed, like, all right, I got it taken
Uh,
care of.
yeah, he walks in and he goes, "Figured you might have." He goes, "Here's your name," and he goes, he goes, oh, hold on, sorry, and he hands you a piece of paper that says, and I'll put it right out here.
Okay.
He says, and he hands you the piece of paper, and it says Wallin Shorax. He goes, he's with the Pale Hunters. Currently not favored, but he's your in. Could probably get you information, maybe more. Little out of favor, so I wouldn't expect too much off the in your first initial encounter. We'll I, he'll want to meet. He'll want to meet in a neutral place.
Sure. Out of favor means going back in style in my world. And
Yeah,
kind of goes, you have any idea where he's gonna want to meet? Assuming not on the station.
he goes. He's like, yeah, I got a couple of. He goes. I'll get you the location as soon as he is. I'll get you the location as soon as I've given him, as soon as I get word from him where exactly he wants to meet at. But he's certainly not coming on the station. He knows damn good and well that any exploit onto this station is going to require a lot more than himself. So
Yeah, I wouldn't come on here if I were him. But let's see if we can change that tune. By
he
the
goes.
way, how much they pay you for doing this?
He kind of chuckles. He goes, "You don't want to know."
Kind of goes, one of those if you have to ask, you can't afford it sort of situations. Fair enough.
And he kind of shrugs. He goes, "And you know the business. And never give away more than what you get."
And you know my end of the business. Dig, dig, dig.
And and he kind of chuckles. He goes, "That might be why the boss wanted to do business with you in the first place. He'd be able to dig into some things that be harder for us to access without a little help." He goes, and he goes, and he kind of nods. He goes, "I'll send you the details."
Probably
And
opens up her flask and goes, Salute! And takes a drink.
he kind of chuckles. He pulls out like a some kind of rolled smokable
Mm.
and lights it up, and he's like takes a big drag off of it, and he goes, "One more thing, you might
Mm.
want to." He goes, "When you do meet him, and this bit's," he goes, "and this bit's for free. When you do meet him, bring something sweet."
Hmm. Thanks.
Mm. He goes, and he kind of like walks off.
Yeah.
And he doesn't just walk into he doesn't just like disappear into the shadows. He just kind of he kind of looks out, and it looks like he's almost been timing his, sort of like interaction to coincide with voices he's heard coming down the hallway, and he just sort of falls in step with a group of people as he
Yeah.
walks back out and kind of and keeps going.
Yeah, Temerity definitely takes a couple notes and sends a message to Arbiter 12. Be sure to pick up very fancy candy. I've got an important guest.
Okay, excellent. And I think we'll end with that, like you sending that message. Like maybe it finishes with your like your message on the screen for the
Yeah.
last shot. So everybody send me your Player's Choice Awards, and let's get started on the sign-offs. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
All
Hello,
right.
everybody. My name is Mira Shades, GM, also just known as Mira. And today you caught me playing Temerity, who is a sneaky, sneaky person who is making lots of backroom deals. And breaking the first rule of backroom deals, which is you don't tell your boss about backroom deals. Uh, but,
Actually, sorry.
say what?
In this case, it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. Um, But yeah, other than that, you can catch me at some other point on this channel doing something else. I'm sure that I will cook up something to do. But that is it for me. Moving on to whoever's next.
Hi. Tonight, I, David Lenobe, played Philip Defoe, and we're getting into some dark stuff. The world could end at any time, and it's probably my fault. Or at least half my fault. Kib. Um, this is the only thing I'm playing right now. But I have a lot of fun with it. And now on to Psychopathic, otherwise known as Kip.
Right. So I'm psychopathic, whatever. Pick a name and I go by it. Yes, I played Kid, and Kib is Kib. Everybody loves Kib. He doesn't make problems at all, ever. He's simple. Anyways,
Yeah.
I love this character. It's fun. Um, and I'm currently not in anything else either, because that's just how it is. And I like this game. Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, my brain froze.
All right. I guess that brings it back to me. Tonight's Player's Choice Award goes to Temerity, 50 extra XP.
Thanks, y'all.
um, I am the Just a King Zerat. You can catch me here Monday nights for Freewheel Station. Not currently doing anything else, so we'll keep you posted when I am ready to do something else, or whether it be a one shot or return of something, or who knows. But I think that's all we've got for you tonight. So let's bring out the dragon and get out of here. Bring out the
Bring out the
dragon.
dragon.
Arr.